Hello everyone, welcome to a new lecture in our course How to Use VI Like a Pro from Readonly. My name is Ahmed. This is section number 6 of the course. It is titled Special VI Usage. In this section we are going to see some very special options in VI that will tweak your usage. The first thing we'll have a look at is the set command. We saw the set command in previous lecture in this course. Now we are going to explore it further in depth. We saw, for example, how to use set and new in order to display line numbers in the VI file you are viewing. But that's not all. Generally, you can use set in order to set an option, okay, and you can use the same option with set preceded by no in order to set off this option. For example, you can set NU to display the line numbers in a VI file, and you can set no NU to turn off this feature. For example, you can set also IC for ignore case. This will make VI use case insensitive search when you use search feature. So for example, maybe you want to search for something. Let's have a look at our example file. And let's say, for example, we want to search for what, but we don't want to search for what case sensitively. For example, if I search for what like this, okay, it did not match this word and the start of the line. It has a capital letter, and we are searching for what with small caps, so it won't match. But if I use set IC, which is ignore case, and I search for what, again, it will match this one. Okay, although it has the first character, capital W. If I want to turn this off, I'll say set no IC. And now if I search for what, again, it will not match. You can also set the window size or the number of lines that the window will hold. If you use set window equals 20, it will set the number of lines in the current window to 20 lines. Now, if you want to have a look at all the features or all the options that set was used in, you can type set all, and this will display all the default options. And as a matter of fact, VI uses some default options in your VI editor, and these options can be overridden. So in here, if you type set all, as you can see, these are all of the options that has been set automatically for you. Okay, there are a lot of options, and you can change any of these. Of course, you don't have to memorize all these options. You can just use the ones that are most appropriate for you, and we will have a look in a few moments at some of the very important options that can be set by the set command. So again, if you type set all, you will see all the options that are set automatically in VI, in addition to the options that you have already overridden. But if you want to see the options that you have overridden only, you can just type set. Okay, and here you can have a look at some of the options that has been overridden by the current current session of the editor. If I, for example, set NU to display line numbers, and I set insensitive case to do case insensitive searches, and then I typed set, you will see that I have ignore case and number, okay, both of which are available when I used the set command to display the overridden options in VI. Perhaps you want to see which option is turned on or off. You won't have to look at the large list of options that is displayed by the set or the set all commands. In this case, you can use set followed by an option and followed by a question mark to see if this specific option has been turned on or off. So for example, I have already set here the NU, but I want the NU, when it's set, it's very obvious that it is set because you have the line numbers displayed in the file. But what about the ignore case? You want to see whether or not you have set the ignore case to true or false. So you would type set and then the option, which is IC, followed by question mark, and it is said that yes, ignore case has been set. So let's unset this. So no IC, and again set IC, no ignore case. That means that ignore case is set to off. Okay. Now, more often than not, you want to save these options in a file so that, for example, if you are a programmer, and of course, if you're a programmer, the line numbers will matter a lot to you. So you want to be able to see the line numbers each time you open a VI or a VI file without having to go and type set nu. So VI provides for you something called the .exrc file. This file is like an environment file in Bash. If you're an experienced Linux programmer or administrator, you already know that the Bash or the shell of the operating system contains an environment file, which is like the bash underscore profile, or in the KSH, it's top profile. These files contain the environment variables and some of the shortcuts and some of the commands that adjust the environment of the current user. In Windows, we do not have a profile, but some of these settings are set in the environment variables. It's something very similar to the profile file in Linux. So VI provides something called .exrc file, as we said, and inside this file you can put all the options that you need to be available for you in your VI session. The exrc file is typically placed in the user's home directory. So in the current user home directory, you can create this file if it is not already there, and inside it you can put all the commands that you want, like the set, and later on we are going to see other commands like map and ab. We are going to see what does those mean in a moment. But you have to know that you can place all these command options inside the .exrc file, and they are going to be available automatically to you. And remember that .exrc file is not only placed in the user's home directory, but it can also be placed in the current directory. And when it's placed in the current directory, it will override the settings that are inside the file that is in the home directory. So why is this useful? Why should I put two files, one in the home directory of the user and one in the current directory? Well, this will make you have alternate environments for VI. For example, what if you have, for example, two programming languages? Python is one of them. And if you know any bit of Python, you will know that Python requires some sort of indentation in the file. This indentation is 4 spaces. So when you're writing a function, we're writing some blocks of code, the lines have to be indented 4 spaces. So you can adjust VI to display or to indent the lines automatically to 4 spaces. But you don't want this to be the default behavior of VI. You want this behavior to be only in the directory where you are working with Python files. Maybe you are working with Java files or C# files or any other sort of programming in another directory, and I don't want this behavior to be available. So in this case, it's very useful to have 2 exrc files, one in the Python directory, another one is in the Java directory, and both of which provide a completely different environment than the other. So for example, let's go to the home directory of the current user. Okay, typing cd alone will place us in the home directory of the user, and let us edit the exrc file. It is not there, so let's create one for ourselves. It's .exrc file, and let's set nu and set IC. Okay, and if you notice here that we are not using the colon before the set command. Okay, in the exrc file you needn't do something like this. Okay, you needn't do this. It's already interpreted from the file. Let's save it, and let's go back to where we were, and let's open our file. You'll find that it's already displaying the line numbers here. And if I search for something like what, it will match, as we said, case insensitively the what, although it has the capital W. Okay, so what if you want to have a specific environment for this current directory? So let's go to our home directory and go to the exrc file and delete ignore case from here. Maybe you don't want ignore case to be available in all the VI file to work with. Maybe in this directory specifically, which is called vi-test, maybe in this directory specifically, the files you're working with, you want any search and replace operations in this directory only to be case insensitive. So this time we're going to create another .exrc file inside this directory, and inside it we are going to place our set IC. if you open the README file again, the file that we have just opened, and try to search for what case instantly, okay, it's not matching. Why is that? That's because a security feature in VI, the files that are placed inside the directory you're working with are not automatically read by VI. The configuration file, the .exrc file, is not read by VI automatically when it's inside the current directory. Only the one in the home directory gets read first. This is a security feature because, you know, the home directory of the user is, of course, secured, and nobody other than the owner of the directory can change or add or delete files in this directory. But the other directories that the user is working with is not necessarily it's the same security level. So maybe you are working in a directory and other users are working with you in the same directory, and one user decided that he might place a .exrc file in this directory and putting some options that will harm you, or that will make your VI session a little bit unstable, or perhaps he wants to do something wrong, okay, with the .exrc file. So VI provides a neat security feature for you to force it to read the file inside the current directory. You will have to type colon so.exrc, press enter, and now the exrc file in your current directory has been read. So if I search for what, it is matching, okay? And this unique feature or this security feature brings us to another important option, which is that you can rename the .exrc file to any file you want. We are talking about the exrc file inside the current directory and not the one inside the home directory of the user. The one inside the current directory can be changed to anything, for example, .vi_profile, for example. But the most important thing to do again is that when you go to your file and you want to make VI read this file, you have to use so and .vi_profile. Okay, and now you search for what, it will be matched. And here let's have a look at some of the most important features or options that can be set by the set command. We already saw the ignore case, the IC, the NU, and this is a new one, it's RO. And this is useful, as we said, when we want your VI file to be temporarily read-only. We saw before how you can use the view command to open a VI file in read-only mode, but if you use the view command or the R argument with VI, you are forcing the entire session of your VI to be read-only. But what if you want to make the file read-only only for a specific period of time? For example, I am now working with this file, and I am afraid that while navigating, I might make some unwanted changes. So I'm gonna set RO. This makes the file read only. Whenever I did something that was unintentional, okay, like this, and I want to save, it will not save. It will tell me that this file is read only, and if you want to save it, you have to add the exclamation mark as usual to the W in order to force it to be saved. Okay, and once I'm finished with the file, or once I'm finished with any sort of processing I want to do, and that I was afraid that it might make some unwanted changes, I can turn off this by typing set no RO. Now this file is no longer read only. If I want to make any changes, I want to save it, it will save. And the fourth one here is TS equals number, and TS stands for Tabstop. So as I told you, this is very useful if you're working with Python, because Python requires you to indent the lines for spaces. So if I set here the TS to be 4, and if this is Python, okay, I can go like here. If I press tab, it has been automatically indented to 4 spaces. Okay, so that's maybe a nice feature for some programming languages and in editing for general. Okay, the next one is window equals number. We already talked about this. It will set the window to a number of lines. So if I set the window here to be, for example, 10, okay, and I want to resize this window in order to see it in action. Now you have seen that it has been reduced to only 10 lines of code or 10 lines of text. Okay. And the last thing we are going to see in the set option is wm equals number, and this sets the right margin of the file to the specified number of characters. And this may be useful if you want to, if you have a file that has long lines and you want these lines to be shorter for easier reading, for example, and it's gonna insert new lines, new line in the line on the line break. Okay, it will break the lines to make the reading easier for you.